5 Minutes of Faith is your weekly dose of encouragement and inspiration. Join Pastor Rich for real life stories and short devotions that remind you how God is present in everyday moments. In just 5 to 7 minutes, you'll be uplifted, challenged, and reminded that faith still speaks in the simple and ordinary parts of life. Tune in each week and find strength for your journey, 5 minutes at a time. Welcome to 5 Minutes of Faith. I'm your host, Pastor Rich. Today I want to talk about the day that you had everything planned out. It's a big day. And for me, it was a day that I had my certification for Cisco networking engineer. It was a day that I was excited for, did all the studying, got prepared, did everything I needed to do. And the kids were young and they were at home, and we planned on dropping them off as we did every morning at the babysitter's house. And then, wouldn't you know, that day, the babysitter decided that they didn't want to babysit our kids anymore. Well, not just our kids, but any kids. And so I was left sitting outside the babysitter's house wondering what to do. I'd planned in enough time to get to the test early and to do my studying and just prepare, and a little last minute review that I needed to do. I remember panicking, and I called Patty and I was like, "Patty, what do we do? I gotta get to this test." And so we finally ended up working out. I had to drop the kids off at her work at a nursing home. So I don't know what she did with them to keep them occupied during the time that they were there. But what I do know is that I got to the test. I got there in time, like right on time. I had no time to get my mind settled, to get my heart settled, get just all prepared. And I remember sitting in and taking the test, and I saw things on the test. I'm like, I know what this is. I know this answer, but I guess I can't remember it. And I was lost. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, God, why this? Why now? Why did this have to happen today? Of all days, it was today. And I didn't pass the test, needless to say. I scored it a 75, and I needed to score an 80. So I didn't miss by much, maybe a question or two. LAPD, I remember that was one of the questions I missed, that I knew what it was. And I only remember that, LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department, I could put it together. But I got to thinking afterwards, what would have happened if I would have passed that exam? I got my certification. Well, in Proverbs, it says, many plans are in a man's heart, but the Lord's decree will prevail. And that's Proverbs 19, verse 21. And I had the plans that day. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to get my certification. I was looking forward to the day that I could go in and be a network administrator and do the job that I had planned to do, that I prepared for, that I'd been doing all the studying for the last several years to get. And then God had other plans. And isn't it amazing at how he works out his plan through our lives? And I got to be honest with you, I was not happy. In fact, I was pretty sad that I didn't get that test, and I didn't get it passed. And a couple things that went into that was, well, because of my class, I got the first test free. If I'd have passed the first time, I wouldn't have had to pay to get certified. So needless to say, I never did go back to get recertified, and went on and did other things. And of course, I went to another job, tried to get a job there, thought I had it. I've told the story many times, but in the light of what God did, would I be where I'm at today? I want to challenge you today. Just remember the little things in life that seems to always go wrong. There's always a reason behind it. We can't see it because we don't have 20/20 vision. But God has 20/20 vision, and our plans may look good, they may sound good, they may make sense. But the reality is, when we stop and we think, God has a bigger and better plan. If I was to pass that test and got my certification, would I be where I'm at today? Would I have met the people I met? Would I have been able to do the things I've done? I've had the opportunity, I've gone on missions trips, I've pastored youth, I've pastored adults, I've met many people. I would have never moved to Massachusetts but for God. And it's interesting how I just watch all that. Now I'm in northern Indiana, which would be right up there with Massachusetts. Indiana would not have been a place that I would have moved to. But nonetheless, here I am. God is using me, and I have to live in that promise that he has a plan. His plan is worked out for us, and he knows what he's doing. Even when we look and we don't think that, God, what are you doing? Why did you have me go through this today? Where of all days, out of the blue, our babysitter decided they didn't want to babysit anymore. No warning, no nothing. It was just a time where God always helps us to make that pivot. So I challenge you today, when it seems like things just are not going right, remember, God does have a plan, and there is a purpose for everything. And though our plans may sound great, the Proverbs says that many plans are in a man's heart, but the Lord's decree will prevail. Live in that promise today. We will talk again soon. Have a great week.